Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back into Relevant Jukebox, and today I'm back with another installment in my vinyl collection series going over the entire thing, 10 random records at a time. So yeah, I got a pretty random batch of records for you guys here today. If you are new to the channel, thanks for tuning in, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're interested in vinyl, music reviews, and all that kind of stuff. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Let's hop right into these records. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Starting off with an album that's new to my collection, just got it in the mail last week, which is Demon Queen's Exercise Tape. If you have been following the channel, I did post a hidden gem on this album here. Really awesome collaboration from Tom Feck of Black Moth Super Rainbow and Tobacco and Zaki Force Funk. Really awesome collection of tracks here. Really weird, off the wall, kind of like zany electro pop. If you've been familiar with Black Moth Super Rainbow, you'll know what I'm kind of talking about. And this is the current pressing that is still up for sale on Rad Cult's website. It's like this cool translucent pink, almost like a hint of orange in there too. Looks really nice. Haven't thrown it on the table yet, so I don't know what it sounds like, but you know, just revisiting this album a lot recently, I looked through my collection, I was like, oh damn, I don't have it, and it was pretty cheap. So I think there's still a few copies left on Rad Cult if you are interested, but definitely give this one a listen if you hadn't heard it before. Next up here, I got Barry White, his greatest hits. How Can You Resist? The original panty dropper over here. This one was a thrift store find. I believe I paid like $1 for it. Yeah, not anything special about it. Just had to have it in the collection. Look at the gatefold here. Pretty nice. You know, I mean, Barry can still set the mood, even nowadays. I mean, I just kind of saw this and picked it up, because there's a couple classic tracks on here, obviously. You know, Can't Get Enough of Your Love. Also, what's the other one I really like? Let me see, I'll flip it over. Never Gonna Give Ya Up. That one is an awesome one too. This one's kind of beat up, but you know, it still plays pretty nice, this record here. But I remember watching Bruce Almighty, the Jim Carrey movie, and the scene where he's about, with Jennifer Aniston, that song comes on. Yeah, I mean, it's just, how could it not set the mood? I mean, Barry White, pretty classic, and this one holds up, but this is really all I need, is just the greatest hits right here. Moving right along here, next up is Kids See Ghost, self-titled. Yeah, pretty good collaboration between Kanye and Kid Cudi. I do enjoy it. Nothing that really blew me away, if I'm being completely honest, but I do enjoy it, and this was a cheap copy on vinyl. I remember getting it back right when it dropped. Here's the inner sleeve. I do like the art direction on this release. I know it's a famous Japanese or artist or something like that. I don't remember who it is off the top of my head, but really cool album cover, and it's just a standard black vinyl, very plain, almost looks like a test pressing. So, you know, Kanye is pretty specific with his releases on vinyl, very minimal too a lot of the times. So I don't know if this has been reissued or anything like that, but yeah, still pretty easy to find, I think. Next up here, I got Tangerine Dreams, Rubycon. You know, the legendary electronic producers over here, Tangerine Dream. This one, I wouldn't say it's like the most popular release from them. I know Phaedra usually gets all that acclaim, but this one's really cool too. I found this at a record store for kind of cheap a couple years ago, back when I was really into like vaporwave, and I was looking up like, some of the main influences and stuff like that, and was kind of like reintroduced to Tangerine Dream, and I thought I'd give this album a shot. It was in pristine condition. It's got really nice labeling from Virgin International here that I really enjoy, but yeah, this was almost in like mint condition, so I think it was like $5. Couldn't leave it on the shelf. And, if you're looking to get into some experimental electronic from back in the day, I mean, you have to listen to Tangerine Dream, I feel like. They're one of the ones. And, give this one a listen. Phaedra, like I said, gets a lot of the acclaim, but this one's pretty cool too. Moving right along is a classic album, one that probably every vinyl collector has in their collection, and that's Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Good record, obviously. I mean, not necessarily, I think, the iconic, legendary status in my mind. I just enjoy this album. And I figured, you know, I had to pick it up. I mean, everybody owns it. I wanted to own it too. It was cheap. I found this again at a local record store, and it had the original poster. So this was another reason why I picked this guy up here. Had the poster in it, which I should be able to get all in there. I don't know if you're all seeing it, but yeah, again, this was a cheap copy, and it was in good condition. And I think it was, you know, I bought this years ago when I was at a point where I was like, you know, what records do I really have to have in my collection? And this was one of them. And this is a Harvest Records pressing, which is kind of cool. That is the same label that released Death Grips and Morrissey, his recent material, which, you know, I thought was kind of fun. And yeah, so it's just classic album. Everybody probably has it, you know, nothing too special over here, but, you know, gotta have it. Next up is a Mac DeMarco demo record I forgot to include in the last one, which is the two demos. This was a Record Store Day exclusive once again. Yeah, this was, you know, one of the better demo records from Mac DeMarco, and was, you know, I was pretty excited to pick this up on Record Store Day when it came out, because it was like the first time that he did it, and it's a limited translucent gold or orange pressing, which looks really nice. This one's the harder one to find. I know there's a standard black of this as well, I believe, but yeah, this is the one. Yeah, you know, just another solid batch of tracks here if you're a real big Mac DeMarco fan. Moving right along is a record I actually haven't spun in a while. I was like thumbing through my collection and I forgot I still had it actually. And that's Iron and Wine's The Shepherd's Dog. You know, fun little folk album over here. There's some really good tracks on it. You know, Boy with a Coin was one that I always really enjoyed. This is one from my college days, you know, when I was really getting into like smoking weed. This was a record that I would toss on. It was introduced to me by my roommate at the time. And yeah, it was kind of just like the anthem record for me at the time. Came with this inner sleeve right here. Probably one I should revisit. I honestly have not listened to this record in a long time. It has just been collecting dust. It's a nice thick pressing. On Sub Pop, they always do a nice job. Everything sounds pretty top-notch. Standard black vinyl, nothing too special about it. But, you know, one of those records that I just have in my collection from my college days. And kind of sticking on that theme, another album from my college days that, again, haven't spun in a little while, but it's in the collection. Empire of the Suns, Walking on a Dream. Yeah, I got into this along with MGMT pretty heavy around the time. They kind of shared a similar type sound at the time because like Oracular Spectacular was out. And here's the gatefold here. I absolutely love the art direction and the packaging of Empire of the Sun. It is just so over the top in every way, but also in like the best way. Look at the booklet that this came with is ridiculous. I mean, there's just, I'm not going to thumb through the whole thing, but just an example there. There's just ridiculous costumes and just imagery, one after another here, these guys. I mean, they just put all of their effort into like what they look like, which is absolutely insane. It reminds me of like Hot Rod or something like that. It's just really fun and cheesy. And, you know, they haven't really done anything after this album. I mean, there are a couple banger tracks on here, obviously, like Walking on a Dream, Half Mast, Standing on the Shore. Pretty much like the first 3 tracks are like burners. And then the rest of the album is just kind of like whatever. And they have basically fallen out of relevancy since. Whatever, though. This is a fun album. This is a Newberry Comics exclusive as well, the Translucent Blue. This was the first time it ever got released on vinyl, so I kind of went crazy and was like, ooh, I have to have this. I've had so many fun memories with these tracks. And yeah, now it's still in my collection, just for those first 3 or 4 tracks or whatever. A fun one. I still probably would want to see them live. I feel like it would be interesting. Getting down to the wire here is an album that I feel like I have never seen anybody talk about. I picked it up one day, just kind of like rolling the dice at a local record store. It was recommended by the owner, which is Josh Burke's Prana. Yeah, this is an electronic album that's very ambient leaning. It's pretty much an ambient album. And I was intrigued by the cover art. And it was also in the experimental section of the record store, which was RRR Records in Lowell. Really, really cool curated selection with them. And again, I was just super enthralled at the time with Vaporwave. And I was just looking for anything and everything in that style of music and like experimental electronics to kind of dip my toes into. And, you know, just from a conversation with the owner who knows a ton about everything music, had pointed out Aguirre Records, which is where this one's on, you know, just kind of like being like a staple label in like experimental electronic that kind of flies under the radar. So I was like, all right, whatever. This thing was $10. I was like, I'm going to roll the dice, give it a shot. And here's the record. It's a black vinyl. It's white labeling. It looks like a test pressing. It's like hand stamped on there. So I don't really know how many of these there are. And yeah, the album itself is pretty decent. You know, it's very engaging if you're interested in just hearing like modular synthesizer tones and stuff like that. Pretty ambient leaning. You know, again, nothing like Blow Me Away, but decent album and an interesting listen. So I was glad that I picked it up. And yeah, just in my collection now. And rounding out this batch of albums here, I have the debut album from Courtney Barnett. Sometimes I sit and think, and sometimes I just sit. Isn't that a relevant title for the modern day? Good debut album here from Courtney Barnett, who I think is a solid songwriter. I enjoyed this one more than the second album that she put out, actually. And yeah, just, you know, always interested to hear what Courtney's going to turn out, see what she's going to do. And here's the inner sleeve here. Nothing too special about the packaging. I do like that the lyrics are on here, even though they're slightly difficult to read. It's all handwritten. I don't know if it's her handwriting or not, but this is not the really cool like orange press or any of the limited ones. This is just a standard black on mom and pop records. Nothing too crazy. This is a playing copy. I don't really go collector crazy for Courtney Barnett in general, but yeah, it's still a fun album to have in the collection and toss on every once in a while. It has that like kind of like cool party rock almost kind of feel, so I like to feel that vibe every once in a while and just vibe out to this album. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of my vinyl collection series. I will be back soon with another one for you guys. Maybe going to switch it up a little bit on the next episode, which you'll see in the next coming week or two. But hope everyone is doing well. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like and share, and if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. I really appreciate it. Coming close to 700 subs. And yeah, peace.